Minnesota ended Jonathan Smith's career at Michigan State. Michigan State had all the opportunity in the world to win. They outgained Minnesota by 166 total yards. They had more passing yards. They had more rushing yards. They had more first downs, and they had almost a 10-minute possession advantage. This was despite Minnesota having 7 sacks to Michigan State's 1. And yet, due to 96 penalties, due to missing 2 field goals, this channel will make you a college football expert and help you enjoy watching games and make more accurate predictions. So what are you waiting for? Like, subscribe, ring the notification bell, comment your thoughts, and watch the video all the way through so that you can get the full package. And check the description and pinned comment for more ways to help yourself and this channel. And poor coaching and Minnesota being mentally tougher, the Gophers escaped 23-20 in overtime. Michigan State barely covered the spread, but Minnesota won, and they reached bowl eligibility at 6-3. Michigan State drops to 3-6. And entering the bye, maybe I'm wrong here, but I would not be shocked if Jonathan Smith, Michigan State head coach, is fired tomorrow. At least I don't think he's been fired yet. This is going to be another segment of live research, but I do not think that he has not been fired. There's articles about whether he will or not be, but he's not been fired yet. Just wanted to make sure I didn't miss any live news, as I'm my own producer, along with obviously hosting the channel and talking about college football. Do a lot of things. But I do not do as much as your average Michigan State or Minnesota fan has done this year, between getting excited about opportunities and then experiencing the lows of getting blown up by Iowa or getting blown out by UCLA or Indiana, for example, or losing to Cal by 10 points. It's been a rough year for both of these teams. The difference is Minnesota has an identity, and they're disciplined, and they control the controllables. And Michigan State, whether or not it's because Fleck has been there for about 10 years, or close to that, and Smith's just in year 2, Minnesota won this game because they were the more disciplined team, and they didn't flinch. Meanwhile, I think Michigan State flinched. For the Spartans, you get a needed bye, in theory, if you want to go bowling, but you're not beating Iowa on the road, and you'll probably drop one of Penn State or Maryland, if not both. I mean, you're talking about 3-9, 4-8 here. And that, with what Michigan State has on its roster, is not good enough. Between Nebraska, UCLA, and Minnesota, Michigan State should at least have 1 or 2 wins by this point. 1 or 2. Probably 2, given the team quit against UCLA and on another day at home possibly beats them or competes with them. And especially given how they statistically dominated Minnesota, especially in that second half. They 17 unanswered points in that second half. Michigan State dominated that, but Minnesota's first half was so good, they were able to hold on and win in overtime. Smith's time at MSU is over. And the only thing I'll say, I'll go deeper on a video this week about the ideal candidates for the Michigan State coaching job. The only thing that I will say about this in this segment is you have to get behind the next coach. I do not think that Jonathan Smith is a bad coach. I think he's a good coach. I did overestimate him and his staff, but I don't think they're a bad coach or staff. But Michigan State never bought into Jonathan Smith. I don't think that outside of the fans they were ever really excited about him. I don't think the higher-ups or donors or big-time fans ever were pumped about him. And the criticisms they gave of him last year, outside of some of the game management stuff, so the lack of emotion or the defense and kind of expecting him to fix things in year 1 when the portal quality is much worse than it was 2 or 3 years ago. This is kind of unfair. But this year, he had a chance to change that. I thought he was going to, and he hasn't. And with that, it's just not going to work because now no one's in on him. So they have to make a change. But for the next guy, they have to give him resources. Otherwise, he will fail too, and it's going to start an awkward cycle of head coaches and athletic directors being fired, and Michigan State will go back to the dark ages. And I, nor anyone who loves college football, wants to see that happen. For Minnesota, this was a needed win because a loss here could put Minnesota in danger of missing a bowl game. If you can lose to Michigan State at home, you can lose to Wisconsin at home and certainly lose to Oregon and Northwestern on the road. They'll probably lose to Oregon. Northwestern, I'd say, is a coin flip game. But being able to beat Michigan State at home and with their history in the Paul Bunyan's Axe Trophy under Fleck, they should be able to at least reach 7 wins. And I think 7 wins with this schedule is a success. I predicted 6. Minnesota's win total was 6.5 to just hit the over there with how much they lost and with how many young players they have coming back next year. I think is a success on the part of Fleck if they were able to reach 7 wins, especially if they reach 8. If they somehow win 8 games, that's coach of the year type stuff. But there have been some times where I question how the defense has looked compared to what it was last year. And then you also have the fact that Minnesota's identity with Fleck has always been they're strong in the trenches, their offensive line is physical, and they can run the ball. They can't do that this year. Their offensive line is one of the worst O-lines in the Big Ten. Just like watching them and how they do not get leverage. They don't block well. They don't get push, initial leverage. Not good stuff. But Drake Lindsey has shown promise. They have Coy Parrish back there, future NFL player. Their secondary's good and will probably only get better entering next year. They have a lot to replace on the defensive line, but they're set at linebacker. They're underrated at receiver. I think Minnesota, next year could be a good year for them, but we'll see. This year can still be a good year for them if they're able to find 8 wins, which 7's likely. Why can't you win 8? Thank you for watching. It's my mission on College Football with Sam to make you the most informed, knowledgeable, and entertained fan as possible. We aren't perfect, but we hit the nail on the head more often than we hit our thumb with the hammer. Make sure to like, subscribe, ring the notification bell, comment, and if you're here, you've probably already watched the whole video. So thank you for doing those things.